Imagine going to work, doing a routine task you've done 100 times, and 40 minutes later, someone is dead. Now imagine being charged with homicide for it. That's exactly what happened to a nursing assistant. And this case is raising a question nobody wants to answer. Was this a tragic accident or something that should have never happened? Now, this is the kind of story that makes people uncomfortable because it forces you to ask a question you might not want to answer. A former nursing assistant is now facing a criminal charge after a patient died, following what should have been a routine transfer. So, what exactly happened? According to reports, the incident took place at a nursing home where the caregiver was using a hydraulic lift, a device designed to safely remove patients who can't move on their own. This is otherwise called a Hoyer lift. These lifts are used every day in healthcare. They're supposed to prevent injuries, not cause them. But during the transfer, something went wrong. The patient slipped out of the sling and fell, not from a height you'd expect to be deadly, not in a dramatic way, just a fall inside a controlled environment during a routine task. At first, it may not have seemed catastrophic, but about 40 minutes later, the patient became unresponsive, and shortly after, they were pronounced deceased. An autopsy later confirmed the cause: complications from blunt force injuries caused by that fall. And that's where this story takes a sharp turn. Because instead of being treated as a workplace accident, this became a criminal case. A grand jury indicted the nursing assistant for negligent homicide. Let that sink in. Not a suspension, not just losing a job, a criminal charge. Now, here's where you need to think a little deeper, because not every mistake in healthcare leads to criminal charges. So why this one? Prosecutors believe this wasn't just bad luck. They're looking at whether proper procedures were followed. Was the patient secured correctly? Was the lift used properly? Was the caregiver supposed to have assistance? Because in many cases, these lifts are not meant to be used alone. And if protocols are ignored, that changes everything. In the eyes of the law, negligent homicide doesn't mean someone intended harm. It means someone failed to take reasonable care, and that failure led to a death. But here's the part that nobody is talking about enough. What if the system itself played a role? Nursing homes across the country are often understaffed. Workers are overworked, under pressure, and sometimes forced to rush through tasks that are supposed to be done carefully and with help. So now you have two possible realities. One, a caregiver made a critical mistake that should have never happened. Or two, a broken system created the conditions where that mistake was almost inevitable. And the truth might be somewhere in the middle. That's what makes this case so powerful and uncomfortable. Because if this can happen during something as routine as moving a patient, then it raises a bigger question. How safe are the people we trust in these facilities? And how protected are the workers doing the job? Right now, the case is ongoing, and the court will ultimately decide whether this was criminal negligence or a tragic accident. But one thing is already clear: a life was lost, another life is now on the line, and a routine moment turned into something irreversible. So, I'll leave you with this. Do you think this caregiver should face prison time? Or is this a system failure being blamed on one person? Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys, especially for healthcare workers who are sometimes placed in this position when you're working with patients and you're working with an agency or a hospital. Do you get enough assistance in doing your job where two persons are needed? But if there's a case, if you're short staffed and you're the only person, do you still continue to do that task? Or do you put your foot down and demand that protocol be followed and that you get assistance? Because as you notice, at the end of the day, when anything goes wrong, you are left in the wild all by yourself. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. And as usual, thank you for watching. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more questions like these.